Graca Machel of Mozambique is the only woman who has been married to the presidents of two different countries. But she is also known for her own achievements as an educator and a humanitarian. A humanitarian is a person who is concerned with the welfare of other humans. Graca Machel was born on October 17, 1945, in the Gaza province of Mozambique. She attended a Methodist mission school. Then she went to Portugal to study at the University of Lisbon. In 1973 she returned to Mozambique. There she joined FRELIMO, a pro-liberation group. Then she moved to Tanzania and taught at a FRELIMO school. In 1975 she married Samora Machel, the first president of independent Mozambique. From 1975 until the late 1980s Graca Machel was the Minister of Education and Culture. She stayed in office even after the death of Samora Machel in 1986. In July 1998 Graca Machel married Nelson Mandela, the President of South Africa. Graca Machel began her association with the United Nations, UN, in the 1980s. In 1996 she made a report to the UN on the effect of war and violence on children. In 1994 she set up the Foundation for Community Development in Mozambique. Machel received many international awards and honors. In 1995 she received the Nansen Medal from the UN for her work with refugee children. In 2007 the United Kingdom named her an honorary Dame Commander in the Order of the British Empire. A dame is the female equivalent of a knight. Machel became a member of an international group of respected leaders called the Elders in 2007. Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Jimmy Carter, and Kofi Annan were also members. The Elders support human rights all over the world. Graca Machel Mandela is the widow of the late Mozambican President Samora Machel who died in 1986. She is now married to Nelson Mandela, the former South African president. She is president of the Foundation for Community Development, FDC, a not-for-profit Mozambican organization she founded in 1994. The FDC makes grants to civil society organizations to strengthen communities, facilitate social and economic justice, and assist in the reconstruction and development of post-war Mozambique. As Minister of Education in Mozambique, Graca Machel worked to implement FRELIMO's goal of universal education for all Mozambicans. She has facilitated greater community access to knowledge, technology, and patterns of sustainable human development. She was major force in increasing literacy and schooling in Mozambique and has spoken of the needs and rights of children, families from platforms all over the world. She is recognized for her leadership in organizations devoted to the children of her war-torn country. A pragmatic woman who firmly believed that education is an essential first step to progress, Machel has spent a lifetime teaching. She has dispensed information and advice to school children, to rural Mozambicans bent on improving their communities, and since the start of the 1990s, to an international community appalled by the toll that adult warfare had taken on the world's children. To all Mozambican women and to many in foreign countries, the self-confident, compassionate Graca Machel is a revered role model, the quintessential woman of 1990s Africa. As president of the Foundation of Community Development, Graca has increased community access to information and technology necessary for development, and as chairperson of the National Organization of Children of Mozambique, she has worked to place orphans in comfortable homes, empower Mozambican women, and teach reconciliation. It is the meaning of what my life has been since a youth to try to fight for the dignity and the freedom of my own people. Graca Machel. Graca Machel was born in 1945 in rural Mozambique. She was sent to a Methodist mission school at age 6 and later went to university in Portugal on a mission scholarship. There she mingled with students from other Portuguese colonies and developed her liberation politics. Upon returning to Mozambique in 1973, Graca joined FRELIMO, Liberation Front of Mozambique. Though she received military training, she worked with women and children and taught school. In 1974, she was appointed deputy director of the FRELIMO Secondary School at Bagamoyo. Following independence in 1975, Graca became Minister of Education and Culture and a member of FRELIMO's Central Committee. During her tenure, she resigned in 1989, the percentage of children enrolled in primary and secondary schools doubled. She married Samora Machel, the first president of Mozambique, in 1975, and they had 2 children. President Machel was killed in a plane crash in 1986. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa is now inquiring into the plane crash, in which many believe the South African apartheid government to have been involved. Graca has entered the global spotlight as a result of her July 1998 marriage to South African President Nelson Mandela. The couple commute between South Africa and Mozambique, and Graca continues her work with multiple organizations in Mozambique and at the UN. Graca Machel has been very active internationally and is world-renowned for her commitment to children's and women's rights, education, and development. She served as president of the National Commission of UNESCO in Mozambique, as a delegate to the 1988 Unicef Conference, and on the steering committee of the 1990 World Conference on Education for All. In 1994, UN Secretary-General Boutros Boutros-Ghali appointed Graca the independent expert in charge of producing the UN report on the impact of armed conflict on children, and Graca spent 1994-96 traveling to investigate the plight of children in countries beset by war. The subject had never before been studied in depth, and Graca's report was groundbreaking. As a result of her report, the General Assembly authorized the Secretary-General to appoint a special representative on the impact of armed conflict on children. For her myriad achievements, Graca Machel has received many awards. She received the 1992 Africa Prize, awarded annually to an individual who has contributed to the goal of eliminating hunger in Africa by the year 2000. In recognition of her outstanding contributions on behalf of refugee children, Graca received the 1995 Nansen Medal from the United Nations and the 1997 Global Citizen Award of the New England Circle. In 1998, she was one of the 2 winners of the North-South Prize. This prize is awarded annually by the Council of Europe to 2 individuals who have shown both achievement and hope for the future in relation to human rights. Graca is much loved in her home country and increasingly gaining world recognition. She has focused on the issues most critical to her home country, issues of development and particularly women's and children's rights, and she has widened her scope to effect change worldwide. Graca has already created a substantial legacy and her work continues. Graca Machel is a Mozambican politician and humanitarian. She is the widow of former President of Mozambique Samora Machel, 1975-1986, and former President of South Africa Nelson Mandela, 1998-2013. Machel is an international advocate for women's and children's rights and was made an honorary Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II in 1997 for her humanitarian work. She is the only woman in modern history to have served as First Lady of 2 countries, South Africa and Mozambique. Graca Machel is a member of the Africa Progress Panel, AP, a group of 10 distinguished individuals who advocate at the highest levels for equitable and sustainable development in Africa. As a panel member, she facilitates coalition building to leverage and broker knowledge, and convenes decision-makers to influence policy for lasting change in Africa. She was Chancellor of the University of Cape Town between 1999 and 2019. Graca Machel was born 17 days after her father's death, the youngest of 6 children, in rural Nkadine, Gaza Province, Portuguese East Africa, modern-day Mozambique. She attended Methodist mission schools before gaining a scholarship to the University of Lisbon in Portugal, where she studied German and first became involved in independence issues. Machel also speaks French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and English, as well as her native Xitsonga language. Machel returned to Portuguese East Africa in 1973, joining the Mozambican Liberation Front, FRELIMO, and working as a schoolteacher. Following Mozambique's independence in 1975, Machel was appointed Mozambican First Minister of Education and Culture on June 25, 1975. During her tenure, the number of students enrolled in primary and secondary schools rose from about 40% of all school-aged children to over 90% for males and 75% for females. Graca Machel received the 1992 Africa Prize, awarded annually to an individual who has contributed to the goal of eliminating hunger in Africa by the year 2000. Machel received the 1995 Nansen Medal from the United Nations in recognition of her long-standing humanitarian work, particularly on behalf of refugee children. In 1997, Machel was honored with the Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II for her contributions and services in the field of human rights protection. In the same year, she received the Global Citizen Award of the New England Circle. 1998, Machel was one of the two winners of the North-South Prize awarded by the North-South Centre of the Council of Europe. Machel was Chancellor of the University of Cape Town from 1999 to 2019. 5-6 In 2009, Machel was appointed to the Commonwealth of Nations Eminent Persons Group. She was named President of the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London in 2012. In 2016, Machel was named Chancellor of the African Leadership University, a role that she still holds today. In July 2017, Machel was elected an Honorary Fellow of the British Academy, HON-FBA, the United Kingdom's National Academy for the Humanities and Social Sciences. In 2018, she was awarded by the World Health Organization for her contributions to the health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents. On July 17, 2018, Machel attended the 16th Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture, which was located at the Wanderers Stadium, Johannesburg, alongside South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and former U.S. President Barack Obama. The event was visited by nearly 15,000 people, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Nelson Mandela's birth. In the lead-up to 27 Colombian pesos, Machel advocates that Africa's youth should have a greater say in climate politics and warned that existing development aid programs covering, for example, education may well be cut and diverted to fund climate change adaptation instead. Following her retirement from the Mozambique ministry, Machel was appointed as the expert in charge of producing the groundbreaking United Nations report on the impact of armed conflict on children. From 2008 until 2009, she was a member of the High-Level Task Force on Innovative International Financing for Health Systems, co-chaired by Gordon Brown and Robert Zoellick. She served as the chair of the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health, PMNCH, from 2013 to 2018. In January 2016, she was also appointed by United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon to the High-Level Advisory Group for Every Woman Every Child. On January 17, 2016, she was announced by the UNESCO as a Sustainable Development Goals advocate alongside 16 others, all appointed by Secretary-General of the United Nations. On July 18, 2007 in Johannesburg, South Africa, Nelson Mandela, Graca Machel, and Desmond Tutu convened the Elders. Mandela announced its formation in a speech on his 89th birthday. The group works on thematic as well as geographically specific subjects. The Elders' priority issue areas include the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the Korean Peninsula, Sudan and South Sudan, sustainable development, and equality for girls and women. Machel has been particularly involved in the Elders' work on child marriage, including the founding of Girls Not Brides, the global partnership to end child marriage. Simbine married Samora Machel, the first president of Mozambique, in 1975. Together they had two children, daughter Josina, born April 1976, and son Malangane, born December 1978. Samora Machel died in office in 1986 when his presidential aircraft crashed near the Mozambique-South Africa border. Josina is a women's rights activist and in 2020 was listed as one of the BBC's 100 women. Graca Machel Mandela married her second husband, Nelson Mandela, in Johannesburg on July 18, 1998, Mandela's 80th birthday. At the time, Mandela was serving as the first post-apartheid president of South Africa. Mandela died of pneumonia on December 5, 2013. Honors, awards, and international recognition. Honors. Dame Grand Cross of the Order of Isabella the Catholic, GYC, 1997, Spain. Honorary Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, 1997, United Kingdom. Honorary Fellow of the British Academy, HON FBA, 2017, United Kingdom. Awards. Nansen Medal of the United Nations, 1995, United Nations. Global Citizen Award of the New England Circle, 1997. Interactions Humanitarian Award, 1997. 33. North-South Prize of the Council of Europe, 1998, Council of Europe. Princess of Asturias Award, International Cooperation, 1998, Spain. World's Children's Prize, together with Nelson Mandela, 2005. Decade Child Rights Hero, together with Nelson Mandela, by 7.1 million children through a global vote, organized as part of the Educational World's Children's Prize Program, 2010. World Health Organization Gold Medal, 2018, WHO. Major Award from CARE as result long-standing work on behalf of children. Honorary Doctorates. Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters, Honorable DHL, from the University of Massachusetts, 2006, USA. Doctor of Philosophy Honoris Causa, DPhil HC, from the University of Stellenbosch, 2008, South Africa. Doctor Honoris Causa, DRHC, by University of Barcelona, 2008, Spain. Doctor Honoris Causa, DRHC, by University of Évora, 2008, Portugal. Doctor in Laws Honoris Causa, Doctor of Laws HC, by Trinity College Dublin, 2015, Ireland. Doctor Honoris Causa, DRHC, by Leiden University, 2021, Netherlands. Thank you for watching this video.